Content and trigger warning. Violence, abuse, religion, mental illness, recovery, life and death, and suicidality are themes discussed in this video's content. Despite the fact that I don't go into great detail about these subjects and that they do come up during a discussion of real-world lived experiences, the themes could be devastating to and potentially very traumatic for some viewers. Please be advised and thank you so much for stopping by my channel. I do appreciate your visit and the time that you have taken to listen to something that I have to say. I wish each and every one of you celebrates Hanukkah or observes it in other ways a happy Hanukkah. While I am not religiously Jewish, I would be labeled as ethnically Jewish, culturally Jewish, or just non-religious. I'm not certain. I have a very complicated situation with my own identity. I am not religious. I am not considered a Jew, I guess based on some of the understandings that I have. My mother was not Jewish. It was my biological father who was Jewish. I was deprived of my heritage and background. So I had to kind of rediscover it that myself and by myself. Now, I guess I don't understand maybe the whole and total blessings or importance of Hanukkah in maybe in a deep and meaningful way. The way that I use it and personalize it through some of the traditions is to identify with myself and my culture, or who I am as a person. I don't know if I have the right to make that distinction, but as someone who exists on this planet, who has different identities, I think that it's important for me to be able to celebrate these parts of myself without feeling guilt and without giving myself away to a religion that may not be particularly supportive of me. I don't know much about the depth of a lot of religions. You must understand, I was not raised with any religions. I had an extremely secular upbringing. As chaotic and violent and deprived aspects of my childhood was, one of the things I did not have to endure on top of everything else or along with everything else is extreme religiosity. Now, I would not have mind if someone guided my spiritual connection with things that I had at that age, or if someone honored that Jewish side of me and supported that. In fact, I was deprived because of circumstances that were entirely out of my control. I should not have been blamed for things that adults failed to do. Now, many people have told me over the course of my life that I should turn myself over to this idol or that idol or to this god or this whatever, not understanding what my true emotional needs were, not even caring. When someone approaches me and tells me that I should believe in Jesus, or I need Jesus in my life, or God is the only way, I find it, extremely intrusive and disrespectful. Sometimes there are well-meaning people who just want the best for me and may not know any better. But I do also find it very disrespectful, very isolating, and I don't appreciate it. I do not need a God. I do not need certain aspects of God. I do not need to be drilled into my head that I am worthless without one in my life or without belief. People assume because where I don't have belief and I don't participate in a religion, and I eschew the idea of God, that somehow I am worthless, or they can't wait for me to die soon enough to see the truth, which I think that in itself is very disturbing, given that I am somebody who has dealt with severe mental illness, and suicidality is a feature of at least two of the mental health challenges that I have. I live in a world where, while I live in a secular world, I live in a world where religion is preferred. Um, the fights between whose religion is better is not my problem, but somehow I'm caught in the crossfire because, and not me as a crossfire alone, not me as a victim, but just that, people need someone to blame for this mess other than themselves, or fail to look at how they contributed to community or global problems with their dogma. Now, I have my own extreme thinkings and beliefs of other things. Even I have had to curtail some of that because sometimes I would get so caught up in what I believe to be liberal and just, I was failing to see the conversations around topics. I was failing to understand how other people experienced life. And what was worse is that I considered myself open-minded or embracing of different ideas when I still hung on to those extreme beliefs. And even being left wing, I am almost militantly left wing. I have to be careful because that I need to be able to relate to people. I need to be able to understand. Now, I'm not the type of person that will go out and attempt to destroy your faith or tear down religion. I don't think religion should be caught up in state affairs whatsoever. I think the state affairs should be representative of everybody. And as much as I appreciate some of the stuff that the Biden administration has done and has set a better example than other presidents, I think that he kept up the status quo by ensuring that God, or a belief in God, is very connected to the American what do I say, landscape. Okay, I'm not going to go into the history about it. I'm not going to bring stuff up about it. There are a lot of things I can talk about, but this isn't the video for that. It's just that it's really hard to find some level of representation in a higher platform of governing or of service or whatever, and atheists are not welcomed in that, or they have to hide that to be able to be a part of making changes. I don't see a problem with people who are Jews and Muslims and atheists, or Christians or Jains or Hindus working together for a common goal, something that is representational, something that is powerful in itself, beyond what we may even believe or not believe to exist. But again, my time is trying to deconstruct those colonialist values, those values that were embedded in me, and not being able to trace those things because culturally I was raised in a predominantly um, Catholic area, and there was a lot of, believe it or not, Massachusetts still hangs on to a lot of its conservative past. Everybody thinks that we're the most liberal. Unfortunately, we are not. I did grow up in one of the most liberal cities in the country. I went to the most liberal university there is, and still there is a status quo that is kept up. And, um, atheists, somebody who's openly atheist that I know of, isn't a part of the larger governing body. So where would I feel represented? I would still be under a cloud of a belief system that doesn't apply to me, that doesn't always honor someone like me or my family type. There's so many things to say. And I realize a lot of my life is based on a level of privilege because of my race and because of many other factors. But still, one part of my life is that being an atheist doesn't seem to entitle me to exist or to relish parts about myself that are wonderful, that make up who I am, and to find some part or connection to the world. So I guess in reflection during this holiday season is to keep applying self-care for myself, keep working hard to remain stable, to work through that, to bring out my creativity, to become more open-minded about things, not so much, as Carl Sagan would put it, that your head would fall out. It is good to have some kind of skepticism in one's life, and to have a little bit of flexibility. The last thing I want to do is to tell people they don't have a right to believe as they wish. Now, I do not think, let's say, Christians are persecuted or being persecuted because my gay son wants rights, or I want to be able to have access to more mental health care types, or that my daughter of color, is routinely told that she's too loud when she speaks up, when she is obviously the smartest person in the room and knows what's going on. And it just annoys me because it's pretty much atheism or atheists statistically who don't have, or they're at least openly atheist, that will respect the separation of church and state. But nobody has a right to tell you how you should believe, how you should feel, what you should think, threaten you with abuse, threaten you with excommunication from your family, from your tribe, from your group. Nothing. I mean, nothing could be more profane and disgusting and evil than that. I would not propose to do that. I do not want to keep up those white supremacist values which separates people from their beliefs, their traditions, what connects them to the earth, to the universe, everything. I mean, we're just stardust, right? We are people. We are not above everything else. Maybe in an evolutionary standard, maybe we are, but we don't have the right to trash the earth. We don't have a right to trash each other. Life is a very important thing, and not everybody has longevity. I may not have longevity because I have mental health conditions that produce healthcare symptoms, physical symptoms that could eventually hurt me. So it's a struggle for me, but I still find my life valuable and worthy. I have a right to know where I come from. I have a right to know where to learn about the world and satisfy my curiosity. And I should not step out of the way just for people who are religious. I should be part of that discussion, part of that participation. And I do not want to lie to people and say, yeah, I believe in God when I don't, to get my way. I should be able to stand on my own character, values, understanding, with having some level of flexibility to work with people's um, other points of view, although sometimes that's not always possible. Sometimes you have to do things when you have to do things. But yeah, I guess that is the message that I wanted to bring. And by no means do I expect you to live as I do. I do not want you to abandon what makes you feel good and stronger. Many people find religion part of their lives that have helped them save their lives. Whatever it is, that's a private, personal um, experience, but it's not my experience. I have to make the best of my life as I live now. I cannot worry what happens after I die because it's not going to make a difference for me. It's not going to make a difference. If anything, it's going to scare me more. And if I keep thinking and obsessing about it, it's just going to bring back those old feelings again. And I really don't want to go there. But that said, whether other Jewish people accept me or not on this Hanukkah, whether or not they deem me as a Jew or not a Jew, it doesn't make a difference to me. What makes a difference that I identify with it. There are very pressing issues for very different groups of people, lots of violence and separation and segregation and real threat to different groups of people, including Jewish people, of which I am very cognizant. And I'm even cognizant as I identify myself as culturally Jewish, and there's a lot of scary revisionism going on. That I think I can get on board with anybody, regardless of if they're Jewish or Muslim or atheist or whatever. It doesn't matter. People deserve to feel whole in their person. People don't deserve to be hurt and murdered because of who they are. I'm going to close this video now, and I really wish you a happy Hanukkah. I hope that you will have a safe holiday season. Don't pressure yourself to buy a lot of things, to do a lot of things, because it's not worth it. Your health, your mental health, your emotional health, that is something to be treasured, to love, to nurture, to heal. Okay? I'm thinking about all of you. Be well. Bye-bye.